This is the Tree of Life, Season 19, Chapter 6. In this episode, we will be talking about the stacking of the incoming and outgoing consciousnesses during a reverse substitution event. To begin, in a reverse substitution event, the acquiescence precedes the negation. The acquiescence adheres to the vessel, and the originating consciousness is the outgoing consciousness. The incoming consciousness experiences acquiescence sequentially to the negation by the other consciousness, which induced the reverse substitution event, that is non-contemporaneously. However, the negation with respect to the incoming consciousness occurs at the end of the task for which his or her consciousness was introduced. This negation terminates the reverse substitution event, whilst allowing the originating consciousness to resume the task without actually doing it. Thus, for the incoming consciousness, there is an appropriation of the fruits of their labor by the outgoing consciousness, caused by the stacking of the reverse substitution events. Now, why does this occur? It occurs because both the incoming and the outgoing consciousness are acting by consequence of the same hierarchical natural law, which induces the acquiescence. This hierarchical natural law ranks them according to their orientation to the action subject to the originating acquiescence. Thus, if the orientation to the task is such that negation follows acquiescence by the outgoing consciousness in its originating vessel, the result is a higher ranking within the hierarchy provided by that governing authority. A lower hierarchical ranking results in their consciousness being directed by the governing authority to complete the task in the place of the outgoing consciousness. Thus, stacking produces delegation and the appropriation of the fruits of one's labors. Now, during a reverse substitution event, the objects of consciousness perceived by the incoming consciousness are linked to the self-representation of that consciousness. Which means they do not perceive they are actually in another vessel during the reverse substitution event. Thus, they perform the task, which, at their negation, is credited to the originating consciousness, which acquiesced with the vessel, prior to the negation which prompted the reverse substitution. Now, it is also true that in order for this to work, the incoming consciousness must be within the digitally dominant stream. Any negational valence can interfere with the process by the bifurcation of the perceptions of the incoming consciousness, becoming aware of the reverse substitution event. This can happen by virtue of the nesting of that reverse substitution within a simpliciter substitution event as well. That's the end of the podcast for today.